Good afternoon, everybody. Happy Monday. It's your Monday message of mental health from Dr. Jenn and the Rose Center for Learning. You may notice I am in a little bit of a different spot than I usually am. It's a beautiful day outside, lovely rain and a little dose of wind to make things extra special, and perfect for our Monday message for this week, which is to get outside. Now, I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, it's crappy out. I'm not going to go outside, because we tend to only go outside when it's really beautiful and warm and not a lot of wind or cold or rain or snow or ice or any of the things that we think of as bad weather. And so when those days happen, we'll stay inside. Like today, probably most of you are inside watching this. But really, to get the best benefits of this particular mental health tip, you need to do it every day, no matter what the weather is. Because honestly, only going outside in the nice weather is like only eating brownies and nothing else, or only wearing dressy dress, whatever that is for you, and never wearing anything else. And I think if one thing has become abundantly clear in this time of social distancing at home, it's the benefits of pajamas, way more than sleepwear. Who knew? So cozy. I may never go back to anything else. So the idea of just limiting yourself to being outside when it's nice out is kind of missing a lot of the mental health benefit from being outside in all weather, because it doesn't have to be gorgeous for you to get the benefits of being outside. And there are many benefits, and I'm going to tell you about them. So in no particular order, I'm just going to get started with some of those benefits. The first is that you're going to increase your vitamin D levels, which definitely you'll do more on a sunny day for sure, but being outside in general is going to have you absorb more vitamin D. You know what's really funny? I said the word vitamin D and the whole video stopped working, but I didn't notice. So I went on and on and on about all the powers and benefits of being outside, and you didn't hear any of them. So now I'll repeat. So where I was just that you get more vitamin D when you're outside. And when you get more vitamin D, here are the things that happen with vitamin D. So many things. So it increases your liver and kidney functions. And it's been correlated with all sorts of health benefits and the protection of a lot of our organs and systems. Particularly, it promotes healthy bones and teeth, and it boosts your immune system and your brain functions. It's been linked to the regulation of insulin, so for those of you with diabetes, it can be really helpful. It is linked, recently I just read that it linked to the genes with cancer development, so that could be awesome for some of you. And improves lung function and cardiovascular health, which is, kind of awesome right now as some of us are battling respiratory issues. In general, being outside is associated with healing faster, whether it's post-surgery or post-cold or whatever your condition is, then you're more likely to heal faster being outside. It could be said, you're more likely to exercise. Perhaps not on a day like today, but in general, more likely to exercise if you're outside. But the two categories that I find to be the most helpful with being outside is that it helps you feel better. It makes you feel better. It reduces stress. It reduces anxiety. It reduces attention deficits. It reduces depression symptoms. How is it that it does all of those things? Well, actually, in a couple of ways. So one thing is it increases dopamine. And dopamine is a neurotransmitter that's associated with the pleasure center of our brain. So it's the part that is increased when you do pleasurable things like sex or eating chocolate cake or going hang gliding or what else? Maybe in some cases, I guess, recreational drugs. They also increase dopamine, but so do all of these other things, including being outside. Just being in nature increases dopamine, which makes you feel more pleasure. Secondly, it raises endorphins, so does exercise. So those are other neurotransmitters that make us feel good and have a boost of energy and happy. It reduces irritability, it reduces tension headaches, it reduces indigestion, and it also decreases blood pressure and heart rate, which makes you feel calmer, which reduces that anxiety. So a lot of that is from the physiological symptoms of anxiety. The increased heart rate and blood pressure are reduced. You also have better oxygen. So being outside, oxygen, this is like where the life forms all around this planet get their oxygen from, is in nature, and us too. So it's not that you weren't breathing when you were inside, of course, I hope you were, but when you're outside, you breathe easier and get connected into that nature's oxygen, which makes you feel better. And you have more energy. And better coping and more self-awareness, which can be particularly helpful if you're facing something hard. Maybe you're grieving a loss, or you have a conflict you have to deal with at work, or you really are feeling lonely and miss your family. Then it can really help you feel more self-aware and increase good coping ideas. It also improves sleep, which is also really important to your mental health. So the way this works is when you're outside, natural light can reset your circadian rhythms, which gives you a good night's sleep and also makes you feel refreshed when you wake up. And of course, a lot of us are really struggling with our sleep right now while we're in quarantine, and staying up later or sleeping in more, or just our normal sleep rhythms are all cattywampus. And so being outside can really help reset that, and better sleep, better well-being, better mental health for sure. Don't forget that sleep deprivation still remains the #1 torture technique amongst most countries, if not all countries, for a very good reason. Ask any parent of an infant. Okay, so the other way, in addition to feeling calm and feeling protected, it also, being outside, makes our brain functions better. And it's because our brain works differently in nature than it does when we're indoors. It changes the way we think because it uses different parts of our brain. And they've studied this to see this to be true, that you use different parts of your brain when you're in nature than when you're not. And so here's the outcome. It increases our focus, not for me. And we feel more focused, more vitality, more energy, more creative thinking, and more concentration and more clarity. So have you ever, been facing something hard, maybe writer's block, or, a situation you couldn't think of how to get out of, or, just not sure how to address something specific, and you go for a walk outside and all of a sudden you get all these ideas, or the solution presents itself, and it's magical. Well, it's not magical, as it turns out. It feels magical, but this is one of the things that nature can give us. Better brain function, solving all the problems we need to solve more efficiently and more creatively. So, who doesn't want that? Now, one of the other things too is that they've studied and said people who spend time in nature are more caring and more positive to other people. So that's good too. But so obviously these are things that are important, but they're not new. So a little guy named Henry David Thoreau was pretty much onto this a long time ago and wrote extensively about it. But also I wanted to tell you that there's a part of Japanese culture that developed in the 1980s and is there today, and it's called Shinrin-yoku, which I probably murdered the pronunciation of. I apologize. Shinrin means forest, and yoku means bathing, and so this is the concept of forest bathing, and the idea is to go out in nature. And they've been writing prolifically in Japan about all the benefits that we've just discussed. So it increases well-being and reduces stress hormones and boosts immunity and lowers heart rate and blood pressure and things like that. And they found it's due to something that's really an oil that's excreted in wood and plants and some fruits and vegetables in the trees. And they emit it to protect themselves from germs and insects. And we breathe this in when we're in the nature around it. And so not only do we feel like it boosts our immune system, but it actually really does. And so because of that, they recommend this in Japan. It was a direct reaction to the tech boom. And it's part of occupational culture there, where it's the expectation people will forest bathe and take care of themselves in outdoor environmental therapy as just part of the culture. So it's a pretty awesome thing to think that the reaction to standing in a screen all day and being with technology all day was to go out and be in nature. And that's exactly what we're living right now. So we're all slaves to this small computer screen or our phone screen or our tablets or whatever we're using. And so if ever there was a time that we needed to counteract that with being outside, it's today. It's now. do it for yourself. And also, it's fun. It's fun to be outside, even on a day like this. Remember when you were a kid and you put on boots and you went splashing in rain puddles and, you bundle up in a coat and hat and run outside no matter what the weather is? Yeah, embrace that. Every weather has mental health benefits, even the days that aren't perfect. It's a good way to pass the time for those of you that have a lot of time on your hands. It's good use of time, makes the hours tick away. And it also helps us connect to something bigger than ourselves, which I think we need now more than ever too. It's a great reminder to be out in nature and see that things are still growing, even though we are scared and uncertain and not sure of what the future is going to bring. Nature keeps on going, and that can make us feel a whole lot better. So go, be outside, reap all of the rewards from doing it, and let me know how it goes. That's your Monday message. I'm going to put a couple of articles in the comment section if those of you who want to read more about some of the benefits of being outside can do so, or share it with your friends. Do share this message for anyone you think needs to hear it, and have a fabulous week. I'll see you next Monday with another message. Have a good day. Be outside.